I used it in my health curriculum, I used it in my language curriculum, I used it in geography, I've used it in history. My climate change unit, we use the causal model for them to figure out, okay, what did they want to actually focus on, as opposed to me just giving them a list of topics. Based on their causal model, they were able to pick a topic, which was much more meaningful to them than me just handing them over a list. They were like, oh, this is actually a cause of climate change. I want to research more about that. With inquiry, my hesitation with it was always, where do you start? So the causal model allowed me that starting point of, okay, so this is kind of our overarching theme for this inquiry, and now let's kind of narrow it down to something a little bit more specific so that you can actually do an inquiry on it. Because if you're just going to do an inquiry on climate change, we'd be here forever. Another area that was very hesitant for me, how do I assess this? It's not about that final project. Obviously, that's where their thinking's presented, but how do they get to that part? What's the journey? So using the tools of integrated thinking allowed me to kind of see the steps along the way. It was a great way to visually see connections that kids could make right away. So what was the cause and effect? And then it also allowed me to see, okay, oh, they don't have no concept of this topic. So it was a great way to kind of look at it from that perspective. And then just the more I used it, the more I found different ways to apply it to units I already had. Pick a topic that your students are going to be interested in. Make sure it's something that is authentic to them and that they are going to value, because then once they get that, then you can kind of veer whichever way that you want to. And then make sure it's something that they're going to have the background knowledge in, because otherwise it'll get stuck. And I feel like our students are much more resilient than we are as teachers, but the minute I would see it get stuck, I might get a little bit nervous about it. So you want to make sure it doesn't get stuck that first time through, so you can really see its value as a whole. Some of my girls ended up using it in a conflict, like what caused one of the girls not to talk to the other girl. Like, and it was a short and it was a small one, but it was still like they realized the benefit in, like, instead of just yelling at each other about the cause, they kind of were able to figure it out. And in the end, they realized the reason they're not talking to each other were quite valid, and maybe they shouldn't be talking to each other. But it was like little moments like that where they were just in the back of the classroom, and you could hear them talking about it, and they were kind of working through it. And it was those little moments where you're like, oh, okay. It at least allowed them to take a step back from a situation and think about what they were doing before they went in and jumped in and did it. So that's what I want. I want them to think before to be quite honest, think before they act, think before they jump to conclusions, and think about what is actually the big issue here.